All right, today we're going to dive into a pretty big question, one that can honestly change how you see everything. Are you building a life that looks good from the outside, or one that actually feels good on the inside? So let's just start right here. Take a second and really ask yourself this. Are your choices driven by what feels meaningful to you, or are they more about getting that applause from everyone else? It's a simple question, but the answer, well, it tells you a lot about the road you're on. And first, let's talk about the road most of us are on, a lot of the time without even knowing it. It's the path of the hollow applause. Now, there's a word for this. It's called an exotelic life. It's basically when your purpose, your sense of what matters, comes from the outside, from what other people think, what they expect, and the validation they give you. And if you look at this list, it all seems, well, pretty normal, right? We work to impress our boss. We perform to fit in with a group. We create something hoping people will admire it. We chase goals not because we want them, but because they look good to the outside world. This is like living your life based on a blueprint drawn by somebody else. And this just hits the nail on the head. You can check all the right boxes, you can get all the praise, you can hear all that applause, but if your motivation is coming from out there, the feeling inside is often just empty. It's this huge gap between looking successful and actually feeling fulfilled. Okay, so if that's the hollow path, what's the alternative? What does a deeper, more real way of living actually look like? Well, this brings us to the big idea for today. And that word is autotelic. It might sound a little fancy, but trust me, it holds the key to a completely different and way more fulfilling way to live. The power of the word is right there when you break it down. It comes from two Greek roots, auto, which means self, and telos, which means purpose or meaning. So, literally, a purpose that comes from yourself. What this means is you do things because the activity itself is the reward. The meaning, the joy, the satisfaction, it all comes from within you while you're doing it, not from the reaction you get afterwards. It's a total flip of that exotelic model. So now we have these two completely different paths. Let's put them side by side so we can really see how they change the choices you make every single day. I mean, just look at this. The difference is huge. The left side is all about the outcome. Impressing people, belonging, getting credit. It's a life spent chasing status. But the right side? It's all about the process. You're not just working, you're learning because you genuinely love it. You're not just performing, you're creating because the act of creating fills you up. It's a shift from chasing status to just following your own curiosity. And this is the real payoff. When your sense of purpose comes from inside, it is yours. No one can give it to you, and more importantly, no one can ever take it away. That feeling of security, of stability, that's what real freedom feels like. Okay, so this all sounds great, right? But how do you actually start living this way? How do you find that inner source of meaning? Well, it all starts by changing the questions you ask yourself. It's really about a fundamental shift in your internal conversation. You stop asking questions based on how other people will see it. Will they like this? Does this make me look good? And you start asking questions about how it feels to you. Does this feel meaningful? Does this feel true? So let's run through a few of these new questions that can act as your compass. First one, what genuinely makes you feel alive? Not what you think you should like, but what activities, what ideas, what conversations actually give you energy. Ooh, and this one is a biggie. It's the perfect way to separate true passion from just performing. What would you still do, even if nobody was ever going to see it? What would you build or learn or try just for you if there was no audience at all? You also got to start paying attention to your own energy. Some tasks, even if they look great on paper, just leave you feeling completely drained. Others, even if they're hard, somehow leave you feeling stronger. That feeling, that's a massive clue. And here it is, the final gut check. If the money, the status, the praise, if all of that vanished tomorrow, what would you still choose to do? The answer to that question points you right to your autotelic path. And all of this leads to a really beautiful, kind of surprising conclusion about living this way. It's something we can call the authentic paradox. So here's the funny thing. The moment you stop trying so hard to be impressive to other people, you actually become incredibly impressive. When you stop performing, your true self comes out. And people are naturally drawn to that authentic, grounded energy. You can't fake it. You can only live it. So really, the invitation here is simple, but it's also incredibly profound. It's a call to start doing things just for the sake of doing them, to choose a life guided by your own internal meaning instead of external applause, and to commit to building a life that is, above all else, true. And that's the whole game, isn't it? To build a life that is so true, so genuinely aligned with who you are, that it wouldn't change one bit if no one else was watching. That's the Autotelic life. Thanks for tuning in.